Baby, I do. Baby, they ask with who will I spend my life, and boy, I tell them with you. We'll be together till the end of time. Forever, baby, I do. I'll never leave your side, no. I'm stuck to you, I must glue. So take me higher than a plane can fly, where there's no one but us two. Cause you are my heart, and you are my soul.
Okay, so I have my story, and she has her story. But we both met at racetrack. We worked together. I saw her, and I saw her walk past on my off day, actually, and was physically attracted. But, we worked together. I said, hey, she said, hey. We exchanged numbers.
No. No.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
We met at somewhere that's, a little suspect to tell people, but we met at the club.
It's really not that suspect. Everybody meets at the club all the time, though.
It was a lounge. That
Yeah,
make it sound
it was
better.
at the lounge. That sounds a little better.
Yeah.
It was an upscale lounge.
Sweet Lounge. Shout out to Sweet Lounge.
And then we went there. We went back like 3 weekends after that.
Right.
For your friend's birthday party, my cousin's birthday party, and
Yeah, we was at Sweet a lot.
yeah, we were.
Cut the check. So when we do the wedding, we married, but when we do the reception, we might need to connect.
I was training, and I walked by, and then the girl that was training me, she said, oh, that's just Jeff. You don't have to worry about him. But these other guys, you got to worry about them. And so I didn't think anything of it. So I didn't see him again until probably a couple of weeks later. And then you lied. And then you said,
Speaking the truth.
You said, I'm a
existence.
manager. He was not a manager.
Speaking into existence.
You were not a manager. You said, do this, 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 and this. And I said, okay. And then later on, we built a friendship. And then you said, I need to get your number for store purposes. And I said, my number should be on the board. And you said, okay. I didn't just hand you my number.
I mean, pretty much.
It was a gradual thing.
You pretty much did.
But he lured me by friendship.
We were good friends, and then we got together. That's pretty much the gist of it.
You didn't really say how we met, though.
Well,
Start.
we first met at Sweet Lounge, which is a upscale and popular location to hang out and drink and party in Atlanta, Georgia. And she was sitting by the bathroom, and me and my homeboy, we come through, we make our rounds, we walk through.
Your rounds or what?
We was walking. So we come through, me and my boy JR. We just, looking fly, playing the role, acting the part, doing what we do best. And JR was behind me, and I think he had on some I think he had on my glasses.
He had on some glasses. Don't try to say.
I think he had on my glasses.
Those weren't your glasses. You never said that. They were your glasses.
I don't remember. He had on some cool little funky,
Yeah,
like,
they was nice.
what do you call them, Ezels, or I forgot. Gazelles, yeah.
And I was like, oh, those glasses are nice. And he was like, thank you, thank you. So then you walk past, and I see you walk past just because, I'm eyeing the crowd because I'm single at this time.
I was looking good.
Somewhat. And so we go back to the bathroom. And your friend JR was there, and my homegirl was there. So then with my homegirl, she was like, hey, I think his friend want to talk to you. So I was like, you want to talk to me?
Right.
And then he was just on me the rest of the night. I just couldn't get him.
She skipped a lot, but whatever. That was it. My friend was anyway. So I walk, and then when we go to the club or something, people just talk to people for the sport. People talk to people just to make conversation. So we go in, and I turn around, I'm like, where JR go? So I'm looking, and he like to talk business. He network a lot like me. We do, a lot of networking. We work for ourselves. So they over there talking about, I don't know, whatever it was. So when they came back, I was like, who was that? Who was that girl? Who was that? And he was like, man, she over there, she was just saying what's up to my glasses. Because I thought if she was trying to holler at him, I wasn't about to try to holler at her. Because, he with him, he married. He's married now. He wasn't married then, but he's married now. And so I just went back like, nah, I need to rap to her because, like, for real? She ain't talking nobody. I went over there, said a couple things, spit a couple lines, and, the rest is history.
I was in a lot of unfortunate relationships, and I want to be respectful to the relationships that I was in, but a lot of the relationships weren't healthy relationships. Relationships that, looking back on it now, I could have made better choices, but I think when you're young and naive and you just go with your first feelings of, I guess, love, or your perception of what love is, you think, you're making the best choices, and unfortunately, when you get a little bit older, you realize it's not the best choices. So my experiences with relationships were not the healthiest. I want to say that I was in a lot of abusive relationships, not necessarily physical, but very emotional abusive relationships, and it took many years for me to heal from a lot of those relationships. And I think even in being in our relationship, I was still healing from those scars.
Yeah. Yeah. I had great relationships.
I bet.
Most of my relationships, or my exes, are not my friends.
That's true, though. That is actually true.
Yeah. I don't know. My relationship prior to us getting married were more of, it was like the right person, wrong time type thing, where most of these people were still in my life, and they're supposed to be in my life, just not in a relationship. More or less like friendship.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say the same.
Yeah. I mean, one of my exes is
our daughter's godmother, which is really funny.
Yeah, she was in her
my
wedding.
bridal shower.
Yeah, so I mean, we have really good relationships.
I want to say that every single relationship, I think we both talk about it, every relationship that we've had has been like a template of the person that we're supposed to be
Yeah.
with. I think they have a little bit of what we want, and then as we go, we improve,
Yeah.
but they're not that person.
Yeah.
And then when you finally meet that person that embodies everything that was good in your previous relationship, that's when it clicks.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, she has a lot of the qualities that a lot of my exes had.
And vice versa.
And
but they were all the good qualities.
Yeah, they're all the good qualities.
Right. And then the bad ones were the stuff that you could live with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stuff that I can, it won't cause us a divorce. So we're good with that.
We never went to Starbucks.
Wait, so after the Starbucks?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We never went to Starbucks. So the time that it took for us to get into a relationship after that, I want to say it was almost immediately. It was one hold up. She was dealing with some clown that, I had to step in and just, I ain't never hate him, dude. I just was man me. And, you got to choose your rate, choose your fate. You know what I mean? You choose, somebody got to win, right?
You said immediately back?
Somebody got to win.
You did win at the end.
There you go. But anyway, so it couldn't have been more than like
I'll say it was like a few weeks, yeah.
Before I was like, oh, that's me.
Cause everybody thought we were crazy. Like, it was like
y'all around each other every day.
With each other every single day.
She don't get on your nerves? He don't get on your nerves?
Then I was like, I don't have any clothes or any, toiletries over here or shoes. So I come back from work the next day and I got clothes over there and like shopping bags. I'm like, oh, okay.
Damn.
All right. You might be a keeper.
You know what I'm saying?
Then we went to Ragarama after that.
You got jokes.
The values that I hold, that we hold in our marriage. I would say honest communication. And I say that's probably the most critical component. So, we've learned, bless you, and, being together 10 years, that's not always an easy thing to do, but ultimately it typically works out the best that way when we do, just be honest and open the lines of communication.
Yeah. Honesty and communication are major. I think what we use to make our marriage strong, and that's what's worked for us for so long, and also built us from friends to husband and wife.
Love. Oh man.
That was pretty quick.
It was very quick.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Yeah.
So for me, it had to be like within 6 months. I would say within 6 months. That's quick. That's quick.
Oh.
So it was days for you? I have that effect on women. That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, it had to be within the first 6 months or so. I think within the first 2 months, I was kind of playing with the idea, and was definitely but the reason why I was cautious was because I was definitely in some relationships where I moved too quick and kind of got burned. So, realistically, it was probably within a month or two, but for video's sake, 6 months.
We realized we were in love, I want to say after 2 months of us dating. About 2 months of us dating. I was feeling him, he was feeling me. I was in a long relationship for 7 years. It didn't go anywhere. I was kind of heartbroken after that. And then he got out of a relationship with his ex, who was a little crazy.
Crazy.
She was crazy.
The whole thing.
Well, both of our situations was just crazy. So when we met, it was we sat down and just told each other what we wanted from each other and what we were looking for, and just from there we just moved on and said I loved you every day since then.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
it's been awesome.
She rocks and she rolls.
It was quickly for me. The reason why is because this is going to sound really corny, but every single relationship I've ever been in, I have a list. And a list, because I always feel like every experience that you have to learn from them. So I would make a list of everything that I learned from and all the qualities that I wanted learning from that relationship. So I had an entire list. And so when I met him, I was like,
I'm not going to tell you list you do.
oh crap. Oh no.
Just name one.
And then
thing
I
off your
said,
list.
Jesus, this isn't right. Because my perception of what my ideal mate was at the time was not this guy. And so when I crossed out all these things and it was him, I was like, are you sure? And I would toss and turn because I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And this is going to sound really weird, but I would get confirmation that this is the right guy. And so I was like, well, I guess I have to listen. I mean, I've asked for it. I guess I have to listen. And then surely enough, I hate to say this, but he became the guy my ideal guy as time went on in our experiences,
But just one thing off that list.
But initially, it didn't take me very long to know. It was because I think what it was.
One thing off the list. You can go ahead and say it. It's for the camera.
You're very funny.
Do it for the gram.
You're very funny.
Okay.
And you're tall.
And I'm tall.
That's a plus.
Okay. I'm cool with that too.
Why did I get married? Let me take this one, darling.
We used to joke about this all the time, but I think I'm if he were a girl, he would be me, and if I was a guy, I would be him. So we just get each other. I don't think anybody gets me any better in life than him.
And I would definitely agree. bottom line is, and people, you know, in our circles and our families, of course, they know us, but, you know, I've gotten to really know her, to know her heart. I think she knows my heart, and she gets me in general better than anybody else. So I can't imagine, you know, life without her, without you. And she's really just brought like stability, and I think that, you know, in general, that's what a female does. But for me, for sure, in my life, you know, she makes the ground settle, and I needed that.
I don't think she had a choice in the matter.
Dang, really?
I mean, to be honest, we went through a lot of life stuff where at the end of the day, I realized that the stuff that I went through, like, there's certain things that mirrored my other relationships that we didn't work out, and I can see why we didn't work out. And there was other things that I was like, I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else but her. You know, like, there was like tragedies that we had. We had different moments of happiness, different moments of sadness, and all of this kind of compacted to where it was just, why would I want to do this with anybody else? Like, why would I want to go waste my time with anybody else when throughout everything that we went through, whether it be good or bad or neutral, she was here and she was acting the same, and she was like making me feel a certain way that although my past relationships, I might have thought I was like in love. There might have been moments where I might have been in love. Like for her, it was like, it was deeper than just being in love. It was just like, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even think there's words to explain how it was. It was magical. It was magical.
I married her because I was like, if I don't do it now, somebody else gonna grab her up. That ain't the only reason, but that was my main reason. I was like, dude, yeah, she that. Don't start.
Trying to get good points tonight. That's what it is.
Another wink. Every time I do this, y'all need to go cha-ching.
I think I knew definitively that Jeffrey was the man that I was supposed to marry, was that every single time we would either take a break or I would question whether this was supposed to be, it was like magnets. It was like I couldn't get away from him.
Yes, that's
it was to the point where sometimes it would be like, just get away from me, I don't want to be with you. And then somehow there was a circumstance that would happen, and we have to be together.
Yeah.
So it was almost like there was nothing we could do. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that our feelings aligned with that.
Yeah.
So that's how I know for sure that, you know, you're supposed to be my partner in crime. Like literally my partner.
I got married because obviously when I met her, you know, I was attracted, you know, physically first. But the thing that kind of held me was her personality and how she just dealt with me, dealt with other people, how she treated everybody around her, how people gravitated towards her. Don't be smiling. I can hear your teeth smacking. I can hear it in my ear. It's distracting. But anyway, I fell in love with her when watching her with other people. And then, you know what I mean? Like when you're in a relationship with somebody who everybody loves, and it just makes it easier, and you kind of figure out why. And you end up with Rain Levi over there.
And it's weird because, you know, this is going to sound really stupid, but being married to him is like literally we're best friends. And sometimes I have to remind myself that we're married, you know, and in the commit, because sometimes our friendship is just so strong, and, you know, we're just, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're friends with benefits and we have a kid.
I married Jamal because he's a loving person. He's like everything that I pray for. I can smell your breath. He's like everything that I pray for in a man. He's loving. I mean, I don't have to ask for him to give me an oil change, or, you know, he makes sure like I have money. Like I never leave in the house without any money. Like, just always checking up on me throughout the day. If I'm stranded somewhere, like, he's the quickest one, and he's the quickest person, like, that comes towards me. He has a big heart, and like, everybody loves him. So my family was like, oh my God, I love Jamal. He's so nice. My friends fell in love with him. So I'm like, everybody loves him. Like, is this God? Are you trying to tell me something? Like, is this the man that I really need to be with? And so I was like, I just kept praying and kept praying and kept praying. And God just was like, every time I asked, the answer was Jamal. And I was like, dang, it's Jamal? Nah, I'm just playing.
That's that light skin stuff.
We just know each other really well. But I think something that stands out that he may not know, or I think that a lot of people notice, and I don't think he realizes it sometimes he's very passionate. So when he's expressing himself or talking about something that he's passionate about, it gets to be pretty long-winded. And you sometimes forget what the conversation even started about, and you get lost in what he's saying. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, yeah, and I'm like, what are we even talking about? And I'm just trying to hang on to pieces of the conversation to act like I'm engaged. I think your friends and a lot of people would say that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But and to that point, dang, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I definitely can see it though. I get to going, especially if it's something that I'm passionate about.
Has marriage taught anything about anything? Yes. Has marriage taught me anything about myself? Yes. I've grown as a man. I understand more about what it means to be a husband. I understand more about what it means to be a man in general. Yeah. Marriage has taught me a lot about life. The selflessness of life, how important it is to just be with somebody, the right person, I should say. I've grown. I've grown a lot since my 20s. Like, this is the person I chose to marry, and this is the person that has taught me the absolute most about myself. There's things about myself that I probably didn't even know until she was like, yeah, you act like this because of this and this and this. I live my life, and she's telling me about me. Who does that? You do that.
Okay.
All right. The biggest thing marriage has taught me is compromise. This is the most I have ever compromised in a relationship, because I'm so used to being like independent and like taking care of myself and just making decisions for myself. I have a big family, but other than that, like, of course, like, your ultimate goal is to make sure that you're straight and stuff like that. So with compromising, like, some of the stuff that I did, like, I would wear like shirts without a bra, and he had an issue with that. So I really like don't think sometimes like women that have small boobs or anything like that should have to wear a bra.
Mosquitoes. No.
Right. I mean, whatever. So it was always an issue for him. So I seen that he didn't really like it. So I compromised. So I would put on like bras even though I really didn't want to. Or, he would be like, well, don't spend your money on foolish stuff and we gotta pay a bill. And I'm like, what? Pay a bill? I need my nails done. Like, I need braids. Like, I'm gonna pay it on the next check. And he was like, no, babe, we gotta pay our bills. We gotta put our bills first. But it helped.
I don't want to seem like she just all over the place with money. Me, I had to learn how to be frugal real quick because I'm an entrepreneur. So since you work for yourself, if you make $500 this week and $5,000 next week, you got to be able to balance that, because if you don't, you can be looking real crazy come rent. Yeah. So if it comes down to I got $300 left and I know I need to spend $300 on groceries, I ain't worried about no fingernails. This one right here, boy, whew, she the nail queen. Her nails done right now, yeah.
I had this thought process of what marriage was about, especially looking at older people around me, and I realized that's BS. Here's why. Because people always tell you the fairy tale aspect of marriage and how you love someone, you stay with them, you don't get upset when they're mad. And I think marriage has taught me a lot about myself because it's taught me patience. It's taught me that it's okay to put myself first at times, so that I could benefit, the both of us.
Yeah.
It's taught me to, it's taught me that to be more confident in myself, because at the end of the day, you need me, and Gabby.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the example. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So if I'm not good, then y'all are not good.
Well, I'm still good. But
but it's taught me a lot about myself in the sense of that I play an important role.
Yeah, you definitely do.
And that if this vessel isn't good, if I'm not okay, then you guys aren't okay.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you. Just based it off your past and what I know about you. I don't think you realize how important you are. So I'm here to teach you, make your life better. Yes.
For marriage?
Yeah.
But the compromising, something that ain't really just about me, but can you say the question one more time so I can answer it good? The question was what
has marriage taught you about yourself?
Yeah, that's a compliment.
That was mine.
Yeah, man.
Oh, sorry.
All right, what has marriage taught me about myself?
I think she knows this and she feels this about herself, but sometimes, she forgets that, she got this, like, you got this. And, I know everybody doesn't have the same personality type, and situations and things affect everybody differently. But at the same time, being on the outside and knowing her this long, in situations where there's been situations that have affected her, mood or whatever the case. But again, just knowing her from the outside, knowing how strong she is, how capable she is, sometimes I feel, doubt or whatever, just some of that creeps in. And I think it's human nature, we all do it. But, she's just really strong. Case in point, she brought him into this world. And I just think now she has a moment in her life, having a natural birth, planned natural birth, that she has a moment in her life that she could always reach back into at any point in time, when she is doubting herself, because she did that. So I'm glad that it went down that way, because, it's that now it's not always on me to point out, this moment, that moment. We have the moment, the moment that we're both most proud of.
All right, if I could say one thing that marriage has taught me about myself, it's taught me that the world is bigger than me. Like, coming up, people kind of tend to just focus on themselves. What can I do for me? How can I make it? How can I, now, a lot of times I'm more focused on her career, what she's doing, her making sure she looks right when she goes out, making sure she ate healthy, making sure, I'm really trying to look out for her before myself. And so early when she was talking about money and all that, it ain't just about money. It's more about, it wasn't like, oh, baby, here go a stack before you go out. It was more like, before you go somewhere, don't go out with just $10 in your pocket. You need $20.
Which I did that.
So what I used to do is I'll take whatever pocket change I had and put it like in her drawer, and just so that way when she go out,
empty.
dude, I'm like, this emergency money. So if you need gas, whatever, I come back, she like,
It was an emergency.
Social media does not play a part in our marriage at all.
Yes, it does.
The only thing social media plays a part in is her tagging me on different things that she thinks is funny that I don't look at the time. That's pretty much it. Our social media, for me, my social media is based on food. Her social media is based on
No, we need to rewind that.
Why?
Because you told me that our relationship didn't count in the beginning until we made it Facebook official.
Listen. I was young and dumb.
So it played an important role, didn't it? Because you didn't feel like I was claiming you until I put it on social media.
That was before marriage. This is to stay together for us being married.
You trying to act like that didn't happen.
Okay.
It did happen.
I forgot about that.
Oh.
On the friend level, we found how important it is to have people that have the same values and are into the same things that we are, and that we surround ourselves by people that are on the same path as us. We have a lot of married couples, a lot of couple friends that are having babies or already have had babies and kind of teaching us the ropes. And as far as our in-laws, I feel like that was kind of what brought us together in the first place. We realized that we both were very family-oriented people, and when we met our in-laws, I think we could both speak that they just felt like family. So his parents love me and like I'm, a daughter, and vice versa. Like, especially my mom is obsessed with him, so he gets more loving than I do. So I think, just friends that are into the same things as us, and just we got lucky on the in-laws.
With social media, like before we like made it official, social media, like I had a lot of text messages and calls when I posted that picture you asked me to post, which was kind of like a setup. You really was just seeing if I was gonna post it or not, but it's cool because I was a G anyway. So like as soon as I posted that
player classes.
as soon as whatever,
Memorize of an ex-player.
as soon as I posted the picture of him shooting, and I like tagged him, I think he had like a radio interview or something like that. And like I'm getting text messages, I'm getting calls, and they're like, "Oh, like you posting old dude? Like who is this? Like who is this dude you talking to? Like what's his name? Oh, I went to his profile. Like that's the kind of dude that you like." So I'm like, "Oh my God, like is this what it's gonna be like?" So then like after that, like social media to me, I really haven't received any like negative, other than before we started talking.
Before we made it official?
Yeah, before we made it official. Mm-hmm. After we really made it official, I don't really get like DMs or like anything like disrespectful that comes in. So it really it's really positive, like, "Oh, y'all so cute," and it's about the persona you put out.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I did say that. Mm-hmm. Only because I was really, really heavy in social media. Like Facebook was life.
You still are?
Facebook was life at the time.
It still is?
That was not anymore. So yeah, I did say that. I said that her friends are on social media. I'm on social media. My friends are on social media. If you aren't on social media, or if you're not saying anything about me, what does that say to everybody else around you?
It says that my business is my business.
Yeah, you're right now.
It's coincidence, luck, God, however you want to look at it, but just our families aligning the way that they did, because even during tough times, our families were there in support, and not just saying the right things, but really. I would say doing the right things, obviously, because, we're here and with our son, and, got a lot of great things on the horizon in our minds and in our hearts.
So I think so too.
Social media has affected our relationship because we kind of got like we have our relationship that's for us, that is, we got secret handshakes. We got secret handshakes. We got all that's for us. But when you go on social media, we got like a little alter ego called
it's like
Yogi and Biscuit.
right.
You know what I mean? That sounds corny, but Yeah, it's something. It's social media. You know, it's IG, Facebook, whatever.
The hashtag
But-
Yogi and Biscuit.
Hashtag Yogi and Biscuit is like our little online persona where we can put stuff out and just it's fun, you know.
Yeah.
Friends and family, like we got a bunch of friends and family from all over. A lot of her family is from like Connecticut, and a lot of them is from Georgia. My family, I'm born and raised in DC, and I moved here. So this is a way for everybody to keep up with us and see what we doing. Cause we always doing some fun stuff, man. Like we not boring at all. We always doing something fun.
So it was Yogi and Biscuit is like our online, and then when we had Rain,
Right, it's Rain's
Ernest was like, oh, Yogi Biscuit and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy.
I was like, I can't believe he really
burner.
just called him gravy. Like, I was like, oh, that's kind
No,
of cute.
he was
though.
really trying to clown me. He was calling you biscuit and gravy, like saying I was getting fat.
Oh.
He was calling me fat, biscuit and gravy. But then it turned to Yogi, biscuit and gravy, and Rain, my son, just took the gravy name. Rain's
kinda
parents.
funny.
Hashtag Rain's parents. You click that, you'll see what we talking about.
I agree with that.
And
Now
sometimes,
I agree with that.
sometimes being too transparent, and people feel like they could just be a part of your relationship.
I agree.
And sometimes when you're cultivating and you're growing something, sometimes it is best to keep it between you two so that you can grow it and not let everybody else influence it.
I agree.
So I didn't put it on social media because I wanted to make sure that we were good before we put on this public front. We needed to build our foundation before we put ourselves out there.
You don't get mad at me.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just making sure you understand where I stand.
I mean, clearly, we're married now.
I'm never wrong.
I agree.
That took years for him to be able to say, I agree.
Yes.
That's important in marriage.
The
Agree.
The selflessness of being a man.
Okay. You want to say that one?
I'm trying to act like that didn't happen.
Okay.
It did happen.
I forgot about that.
Oh.
Baby, they ask with who will I spend my life, and boy, I tell them with you. We'll be together till the end of time. Forever, baby, I do. I'll never leave your side, no. I'm stuck to you, I must glue. So take me higher than a plane can fly, where there's no one but us two. 'Cause you are my heart, and you are my soul.